The Constitution itself is pretty much the basis of my whole life. I'm prior military, and so my focus was on protecting this Constitution. But the reason why it took a little while for me to learn, it started out in high school, studying it, and really then it was just studying it as a structure. And then when I went into the military, my focus went into opposite systems, communism and all that. And that's when the Constitution started coming alive for me, when I saw the alternatives. And I think after 30 years of studying alternatives, what the Constitution really means to me, it is about respect. It's about individual respect, and it is about mutual respect. That no single entity, government or otherwise, has the ability to have arbitrary or complete control or unwelcome control over your life. We are a representative system, and we have a means through the Constitution to remove those that we are unhappy with how they represent us. But there is no single, or not intended to be any single ruler, no single branch of government is to offer over control. So we have the ability to determine our own destinies. It is not dictated to us. I'm from Hawaii originally, and I'm very proud of some of my family members that were in World War II. They were in the Nisei Battalion, and that was because at that time you had the encampments because you had the enemy, and our people wanted to show, no, we are Americans. We believe in the ideology, and that's what is so important for our eighth graders to understand. We are not a nation of a race. We are not a nation, I don't even take an oath to protect a landmass or territory. My oath is taken to protect the ideology of the Constitution. We are not a nation about a certain group of people, a certain aristocracy, a certain race, a certain nationality. We are Americans as a whole, and that whole term melting pot is very, very important from many different backgrounds and mutual respect. However, that being said, we have to also understand the American ideal that we are all created equal. We all have impact on our own futures. And that is where we have to come together and unify in our ideals. But outside of that, what I believe, what I think, what I speak is my concern, my business. Right now we have people and it doesn't matter. It could be over your weight. It could be over your nationality. It could be over your religion. So much division. Everybody is offended over everything. And it's okay to be, but what you have to understand is yin and yang. If you have an opposing idea, the other idea is okay to be spoken. And that's what our Constitution allows us to do. If you only look at one idea and you stop it and you say, we're only going to pursue this line of thought, then you've missed a 360-degree view. Technology would slow. Our businesses would slow because they're not listening to their customers. It requires looking at things from many angles, and we have to be free to do that. I am a history buff. I think it's very important. I believe know the lessons of your fathers or you can't see forward. And one of my heroes is Samuel Adams. And one of his objectives was to establish the Committee of Correspondence. What that committee's job was first to inform their citizens, because they were being abused horribly, through taxes, through people, being able to move into their homes, their items could be seized. But the people for the last 150 years at that time had been living under increasing levels of abuse. Well, if you live in that culture from the time you're born, because that covers many generations, you don't know that you're being abused. So the Committee of Correspondence, their first objective was to teach the citizens what their rights were. Their second responsibility was to show them how their rights were being violated. And then third, their objective was to activate the people and let them try to come up with a plan, and the revolution to reinstate their rights. Anymore today, our kids don't even know you are worthy as an individual. And I don't care what your background is, you have value. And so it is my prayer and my hope that we can keep getting this message to our kids. And the Constitution is one way to make sure that their value is respected. I'm very thrilled that this project is providing constitutions to everybody. It's this big, it's very small, it is very succinct. And I think for anybody that wants to understand our structure or what needs to refer and has questions, that is important. Years ago, early in our history, Tocqueville went around our country and he's discussed what made America great. And he said, because you can go into any home, and the young people understand their rights. They understand it. And so but you have to have it. You have to read it and able to refer to it. So that's why I would think it is so important is understanding is preservation for the country, but also of your life. So you can identify maybe if things are inappropriate, maybe things violate your life. You've got to understand that. And if you don't learn it, then you can't be aware of a threat to your freedom. And I just want to take this moment to say thank you so much to the 917 Project, because when I grow up, this is what I want to do. This is the knowledge that I want to take to reach our young people, because when I am old and dependent and I don't have anybody's, fighting for me, it is our younger generation that I want them to protect our lives, our lifestyle of a democratic republic and all that entails.